Good morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is January 7th, 2019, and Happy New Year to everyone. So I've been getting an awful lot of comments on both the channel that I admin on, Scam Stingers, and on the Virgo Triad channel, asking for information with regards to the sovereign citizen movement and the videos that people are seeing all over social media about quote-unquote sovereign citizens, like these.
But we told you he's an Article 4 free inhabitant, so he does not have to have a license. This is on recording. Article 4, free inhabitant, pursuant to the Articles of Confederation. You can look it up. It's in the United States Book of Codes. It is your laws you have to follow.
That might have looked familiar to you guys. There are videos that have compilations that are in the thousands. There are so many that are part of this group that run around and do these things and videotape them. But that's not all they do. A lot of the fraudulent paperwork that's being filed with the Uniform Commercial Code in each state are due to sovereign citizens and the sovereign citizen movement. A lot of the financial schemes that go on across social media, on the internet, and in other places, A4V, for example, and many other things that the sovereigns will attempt to try to do as a financial scheme in order to make money. That is part of the sovereign citizen movement. As you can see in front of you is an actual report from between 2006 and 2007 of what the potential threat level is for between 2006 and 2007 and 2013 and 2014, and what type of groups within the United States of America. Sovereign citizen topped the list as of 2013-2014. It isn't always an actual physical terrorist type of threat. A lot of sovereign citizens, or those that are part of the sovereign citizen movement, are considered paper terrorists. And the reason for that is because they use the UCC paperwork to file fraudulent liens against people that upset them. Now, with all this being said and all of the crazy beliefs that they have, one of the things that people constantly are asking is, what part of politics does this group fall into? Are these people alt-right? Are these people far left? Are these people conservatives? Are these people libertarians? Are these people liberals? What are these people part of the Democrats? Where do these people fall? Most of the time, when you see information that comes out from the government on the sovereign citizen movement, and you see that these individuals are being spoken about, you're going to hear them referred to as part of the right, part of the alt-right. I disagree with that. I actually do not think they're part of the alt-right, and they're definitely not actually part of the alt-left. They actually fall into the middle. The reason why is because the far right, the alt-right, and the far left actually intertwine at a point. And I'll go into a video about that at another time if it's something that you guys really want to understand. I get it that there's a big misunderstanding about what real alt-right is and what far left really is. People misunderstand it. People actually believe it's something completely different than it really is. So that's something that does need to be cleared up. But I would say the sovereign citizen movement falls somewhere with a combination of libertarianism and anarchism. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before I get too far into this and I actually go over the sovereign citizen movement with you, I want to talk to you guys about something that pops up on my channel constantly. People like to beat over the head that sovereign citizen is an oxymoron. And you know what? I really could care less. The reason why is because when you actually take a look at this, it's only an identifying marker, meaning that the sovereign citizen movement is a specific kind of movement that has been notated as such, and sovereign citizens are those that are part of the sovereign citizen movement. Now, I didn't make up the meaning, I didn't make up the name. And we can go back in history and find out how that actually happened, which I think the majority of sovereign citizens or parties that are involved in the sovereign citizen movement would be shocked to know, because in reality, they were the ones who started that name. But regardless, for those of you that want to believe that it's something that the federal government came up with, or it's something that the police departments came up with, it doesn't really make a difference one way or the other. It is the way that we identify a group of people that have a similar ideology. And their ideology is as follows. The sovereign citizen movement is a loose grouping of American and Commonwealth litigants, commentators and tax protesters, and financial scheming promoters. Self-described sovereign citizens see themselves as answerable only to the particular interpretation of the quote-unquote common law. Again, we will discuss that scenario in another video, and as not subject to any government statutes or proceedings. In the United States, they do not recognize the United States currency and maintain that they are free of any legal constraints. They especially reject most forms of taxation as illegitimate. Participants in the movement argue this concept in opposition to the idea of federal citizens, who they say have unknowingly forfeited their rights by accepting some aspect of federal law. The doctrines of the movement resemble those of the Freemen on the Land movement, more commonly found in the Commonwealth, such as in Britain and in Canada. Many members of the sovereign citizen movement believe that the United States government is illegitimate. J.J. McNabb, who writes for Forbes about anti-government extremism, has described the sovereign citizen movement as consisting of individuals who believe that the county sheriff is the most powerful law enforcement officer in the country, with authority superior to that of any federal agent, elected official, or local law enforcement official. This belief can be traced back to white extremist groups like Posse Comitatus and the Constitutional Militia Movement. Now, let me just say this before I go any further. J.J. McNabb is also someone who has come out and spoken directly against April Lejeune for the sovereign citizen movement financial schemes that April actually has sold online. Specifically, J.J. McNabb spoke about April Lejeune. So that's something that some of you might be interested in taking a look at. You can find that information on J.J. McNabb's Twitter page, and you can also find some information on Forbes with regards to that. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, classifies some sovereign citizen extremists as domestic terrorists. In 2010, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, estimated that approximately 100,000 Americans were hardcore sovereign citizens, with another 200,000 just starting out by testing sovereign techniques for resisting. Now, let me tell you, the people that you see that are on these videos that you guys watch on a regular basis, for example, on the Van Balen channel, on the Scam Stingers channel, and many other, a lot of the cops channels, these are the people that are part of the sovereign citizen movement. When you take a look online and you see the groups that are trying to sell packages that teach you how to use this so-called A4V and teach you about your birth certificate supposedly being monetized, these are part of the sovereign citizen movement. Now, moving on from there, we want to talk about what libertarianism is and what anarchism is, and why those things actually do pertain to this group more so than any other political label would. Okay, so we're going to take a look at libertarianism now. Okay, so libertarianism, the political philosophy of libertarianism is a collection of political philosophies and movements that uphold liberty as a core principle. Libertarians seek to maximize political freedom and autonomy, emphasizing freedom of choice, voluntary association, and individual judgment. Now, what we've got here is a combination. So I want you to make sure that you understand, because I know a lot of people are going to take a look at libertarianism and they're going to be like, wait a minute, there are two different sides to libertarianism. There's right-wing libertarianism and there is left-wing. And yes, there are two sides to it. And this is the problem, is that this is not only something that melds those two sides together, but it also includes what I would consider an anarchism wing to it also, maybe even more so than the libertarianism. So what I want to make sure that you guys are aware of is that there is only one thing that really binds these individuals in terms of an ideology. From a political standpoint, however, we are going to be looking at a range of different things, and these are the most likely two that go together, the libertarianism and the anarchism. So the one thing that binds them together is the lack of being willing to take personal responsibility, just so that you know. Now, that is not a political view. That is an ideology that they do all tend to have. As you see in these videos with these people that get pulled over and are not willing to show their IDs, they're not willing to even admit to the fact that they have to be governed by the rules of the road of the state that they are located in or that they are traveling on the highway for. They are absolutely not willing to take personal responsibility. They do everything they possibly can to attempt to scam their way through life. And that is both from a financial standpoint, from a legal standpoint. It just goes on and on and on. So that is really the one thing that binds them together, a lack of personal responsibility. However, once again, this video is about people requesting information with regards to my personal opinion on whether they are more alt-right or far left. And again, I truly believe that they are in a category of their own. Let's go ahead and take a look at anarchism. And we're going to go ahead and, for those of you that know what anarchy actually is, wipe that away for just a moment while I go ahead and read to you the actual definition. Anarchy is a society, entity, or group of people with a single person that rejects, or a single person that rejects hierarchy. Okay? So, number one, these people do not want government. The only time they tend to want government is if it means there's a check that's coming along with it. And if they want any kind of government at all, it's going to be a very, very small government. But they literally kind of discredit that almost immediately when you find out that the majority of these people, number one, don't actually hold down jobs. And for those that do, they're very low-level positions, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, as a whole, after years of looking into this movement now, I'm seeing these traits. The fact that a lot of them seem to be on some kind of federal or state assistance like food stamps, Section 8 housing, or Medicare or Medicaid. A lot of these individuals are are people who definitely fall under the poverty line. So we're in a situation when we're looking at a lot of these people where, I know I've watched these videos and I'm like, how are these people driving around Lincoln Town cars that are nice and new and getting their windows bashed out by the police because they refuse to identify themselves and they've broken some sort of road violation, and they get into an argument with the cop, and the cop has to get them out of the car because they refuse to step out of the car and show identification. These are things that kind of boggle my mind. But once again, the one thing that I said these people actually do have in common is the fact that they have an ultimate lack of responsibility. Now, there are people that you will see come on my channel and make these horrendous comments about how everything I'm saying is a lie and these people are really hardworking and what's wrong with having your freedoms and da-da-da-da. Freedoms are great for each individual person. They're very, very important until you infringe on someone else's freedom. And that's exactly what these individuals do through their financial fraud schemes, through their attempts at trying to skirt the law, through their lack of care for society and what society norms are. And these are things that are governed by all of us. These are things that we elect our government to uphold, so that way we're all more safe and all have the capability of driving down the road and not having to worry about an uninsured motorist running us over or killing one of our kids that are in the car or doing some sort of terrible property damage or worse to us. So, this is a group of individuals that largely has their roots in a combination of anarchism and libertarianism. They are, I would say, at the full spectrum, sliced down the middle of alt-right and alt-left. And there's nothing in the norm range of them. They largely all agree on one massive thing, and that is take virtually no responsibility for yourself whatsoever. So I hope that helps a little bit with the question. I can go into more information with regards to what real alt-right is, what real alt-left is, if that is something that you guys would like for me to do. The interesting part, however, about that is that, as you know, the Virgo Triad channel is absolutely not a political channel. And because I have attempted to stay away from politics on purpose and stay on informing people of scams that are online and on social media, because I thought that would be more helpful, the more and more people are starting to ask questions with regards to politics. And I'm not sure that that's something that I really care to get into on this channel. But I will answer questions as far as what is the alt-right, what is the alt-left, what is a Democrat versus a Republican, or a conservative versus, someone who would be considered on the other side or on the opposite side. I don't have a problem answering those questions in terms of actual factual evidence. You can always find links in my description of where I find my information to make sure that you guys can take a look at it yourselves. However, I'm not going to get into any kind of actual personal politics on this channel, but I wanted to make sure that I answered this for you guys. I hope it was helpful and you guys got some information out of it. I will be linking all of the different areas that you guys can look this up for yourself and see what you feel and think. And once again, Happy New Year to everyone, and I'm glad to be back. I won't be here every single day like I used to be, but slowly moving back into making videos again. So hello to everyone. Happy New Year to everyone, and let me know what you thought and if you would like any specific videos to be done over the next couple weeks, and I will take a look into doing that for you. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.